Safa and Marwa, where they walk through 7 times before completing the performance of Umrah. Gambian pilgrims are all safe and in good condition of health and are now performing daily prayers at the Masjid al-Haram, where each prayer is rewarded 100,000 times as compared to prayers in any other mosque. All pilgrims will stay in Mecca until the National Hajj Commission asks them to proceed to Mina in preparation of this year's Hajj. Reporting from the holy city of Mecca, I am Aida Job.
Charcoal is increasingly becoming an essential need for many households in the Gambia. The recent price hike in the commodity is attributable to several factors, most notably its high market demand and the notoriously tedious method of processing it. That aside, the charcoal trade remains an important source of income for many women. This report by Rohi Bite takes a look at the significance of charcoal use in the country and the painstaking nature of its processing.
All depend on charcoal for the preparation of daily meals. This is the struggle many face in buying the famous charcoal that is now rather becoming hard to get due to the recurrent increase in cost and scarcity of wood. Women buying charcoal at the market often struggle to buy the required amount for the household. This precious product was once sold at a reasonable price, but demand has triggered the cost to a new level. Many use it for local ironing, cooking and other basic needs, replacing firewood and stove due to its convenience and reasonably low cost. Many women in the country depend on selling charcoal as their only viable means of income. They can be found in many parts of the country, from street corners to markets. A look at the processing of this famous commodity gives us a hint at one of the reasons for the high cost of the product. Producing the charcoal can be tedious and largely demanding for the men. The processing of charcoal involves cutting off firewood, building pyramid with the woods, and this is done like this by leaving a hole in the middle. This alone can take hours or days depending on the size of pyramids one builds. For charcoal dealers like Batamba and Pa Abubakar Sanyang, life in the trade has been a generational affair. According to them, charcoal processing can be very hectic, while adding that it normally takes them significant time just to build a perfect pyramid, burn it to have the final product. Wood is the main source of charcoal, and the most preferred are mango woods, oranges and avocado branches. It took us hours to watch Pa Abubakar patiently build his pyramid to satisfaction. When I thought he was done with the process, then he continued with covering the assembled woods with mango leaves and then wet sand, which he dug around the circle of the pyramid. The mango leaves, as explained by these charcoal processors, are very essential for keeping smoke within the woods for proper burning before the coal will turn to ashes and keeping the sun from entering the woods, thereby disrupting the burning. They will then light fire and then turn it to the whole of the pyramid from top and then force it down to allow it to burn before they seal the top. This burning, if not affected by rain, can take 3 days before completion. After 3 days of burning, this pyramid is scattered in this form and the heat is taken off with either water or sand, allowing it to cool. The charcoal is then ready for measurement in bags ready for sale. Even though charcoal varies depending on the type of source used, lump charcoal is the one commonly used in the Gambia as it is processed from hardwood. There are other types of charcoal made from sawdust and groundwoods. Coal production is said to have begun as far back as in the 17th centuries in places where wood was abundant. But this is the way how this very important commodity for many is still processed in the Gambia. Rohi Bite, GRTS News.
We'll now take our first break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It is a day of mourning for those who lost their lives when a migrant boat en route to Italy capsized. As many as 500 migrants from Africa were on board an overcrowded boat. At least 111 have died and around 200 are still missing. Rescuers have plucked 155 from the sea, but hopes of finding more survivors are fading. CNN senior international correspondent Matthew Chance files this report from Lampedusa.
Tragedy here on Lampedusa. The Italian Coast Guard say they've now recovered well over 100 bodies from the stricken vessel, which was carrying migrants. But officials tell us there may be as many as 200 more people whose bodies remain trapped in the wreckage, now lying 47 metres beneath the Mediterranean Sea. So it's clearly become one of the worst disasters involving migrants in recent years. The UN says 155 people on board the boat, which capsized and caught fire on Thursday, have been rescued, most of them from the countries of Eritrea and Somalia. The captain of the boat is among the survivors. He's said to be a 35-year-old man from Tunisia and is now under arrest. The others, some of them, are being treated at hospital. The others have been taken to a detention facility on the island to be processed. In the meantime, it is a day of mourning on this island and elsewhere as Italy marks what has been a terrible tragedy. Matthew Chance, CNN, Lampedusa.
There may be signs of compromise, at least when it comes to avoiding a default on U.S. debt, even though House Speaker John Boehner is still standing firm against conceding to the White House. Sources say he would not allow a default to happen, even if it means relying on Democrat votes. President Obama has called on the House Speaker to drop the Obamacare concessions.
And the debt ceiling is creeping up upon us, but I will tell you that House Speaker John Boehner, while he's still standing firm against really conceding to the White House, still demanding those concessions regarding Obamacare when it comes to the shutdown, an indication that he may have more flexibility on the debt ceiling. With the government partially shut down and the United States careening towards defaulting on its debts in mid-October, House Speaker John Boehner made a key admission about the debt ceiling. A Republican who spoke to CNN after a private meeting with House GOP members said Boehner informed them he will not allow a default to happen, even if it means relying on votes from Democrats.
Do you have a second?
I'm all wired up here.
In a city that lives for an open mic moment to pull back the curtain,
I just didn't see an end. I just go over and over again. We're willing to compromise. We're willing to negotiate.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell and fellow Kentucky Senator Rand Paul delivered.
I don't think they poll tested we won't negotiate. I think it's awful for them to say that over and over again.
Yeah, I do too. And I just came back from the 2-hour meeting with them. And that was basically the same view privately as it was.
I think if we keep saying we wanted to defund it, we fought for that, but now we're willing to compromise on this, I think they can't. Well, I know we don't want to be here, but we're going to win this, I think.
But at a campaign-style event in Maryland,
hello, everybody.
President Obama pulled a bit of an ace out of his sleeve, sounding the alarm for a key voting bloc, seniors.
In a government shutdown, Social Security checks still go out on time.
As he explained why defaulting is worse than a government shutdown.
In an economic shutdown, if we don't raise the debt ceiling, they don't go out on time.
He again pressured House Speaker John Boehner to fund the government and drop Obamacare concessions.
Call a vote. Put it on the floor and let every individual member of Congress make up their own minds. And they can show the American people, are you for a shutdown or not?
And in an exclusive interview with CNN's Dana Bash, Senate Leader Harry Reid revealed he and Boehner originally struck a deal that included spending cuts.
You're saying that he told you, he promised you in a private meeting that he would pass a clean bill with no strings attached, particularly on Obamacare?
That's why we did it. That's why we agreed to that lower number. So that's one of the largest compromises since I've been in Congress. That's a big deal, $70 billion just like that. And he couldn't deliver.
Now, if that is an accurate account, Christy, it sort of shows how House Speaker John Boehner's initial intentions may have been thwarted by this small contingent of more conservative or Tea Party Republicans in his conference. You know, at this point, talking to House Republicans, we're not hearing a whole lot in reaction to this, although privately, I think some Republicans take issue with Reid's characterization of there having been a deal that Boehner reneged on.
A U.S. woman who was shot and killed by police following a dramatic car chase at the White House has been named. Investigation into the death of the 34-year-old Marion Carey has begun. The car chase and shooting has brought the U.S. Capitol to halt as workers, residents, and members